Before we get into the video, I would just like to thank everyone for tuning in. I really appreciate all of the support, all of the kind words I've received so far. If you could like, subscribe, and turn on the post notifications, that would be great. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm, so I would really appreciate that. If you could go check out our socials, Instagram, the.climb podcast, Twitter, the_climb podcast, and TikTok, the climb podcast. Again, I'll be posting updates on there on when things will be posted on YouTube and just different clips from the different interviews and episodes. Again, I just want to thank you guys for all the support, following me along on this journey. I'm learning. This is new to me, so this is something that I'm trying to grow and get better with. So please leave comments with different tips, different pointers, anything that you think could help out the channel. And with that, let's get into the first episode.
Our host, Hunter Strait. Welcome to The Climb.
Welcome to the first official episode of The Climb. Now, this episode isn't going to be like a normal episode. It's going to be a lot shorter because this is kind of just a channel breakdown of kind of what the format and what everything is going to be like in the channel. But let's get into it. Why did I start this podcast? It might seem a little random, but for me personally, growing up and especially the past 5 to 10 years, I've really watched a lot of YouTube. It's the primary thing that I would say that I watch over Netflix, Hulu, all the streaming services, all of that. I watch a lot of YouTube. Now, it started with a lot of NBA, a lot of basketball content. That's something that I really have always enjoyed. But over the past couple of years, as my interests have grown, I've really gotten into podcasts. I DoorDash, so I spend a lot of time in the car. I go on walks with my dog, all that type of stuff. So I have a lot of times where I just have free time to listen to things, and podcasts just kind of fill those time. And that's something that I've always really just kind of admired and something that I've always been drawn to. And also, like I said, with my interest for YouTube, it's just I've always wanted to have a channel, always wanted to do something, but never knew what to do. But when I discovered the format of podcasting, it just kind of opened me to a whole new world and something that I came very interested in. And that's just kind of how this became about. I never really knew what I wanted to do, but over the past couple of years, and as I've grown, I've seen that this is something that I really want to get into and really kind of want to grow and be a part of. Now, when it comes to the format of the podcast, it'll be mostly videos of me interviewing different people, whether this be athletes, entrepreneurs, people in entertainment, all sorts of different type of people from all walks of life is who I really want to talk to in this. And my main goal with this channel is to really find out and get into the mindset and follow the journey of these people, because something that I've always been interested in and something that I've always enjoyed, learning about people is just how they became who they are. I think something that people don't really realize a lot of times is not everyone has like very similar lives. People have a lot of different journeys and have a lot of ups and downs when it comes to how they get to where they are, and they can see the outcome of where people are and just think that that's just how it is and don't get to see really the behind the scenes of where they got there. So I really kind of wanted to provide an opportunity to give these people a chance to, talk about their journeys, show who they are and how they became as successful as they are. Because, personally, why this is so important to me is as someone who has struggled with a lot of mental health and depression issues. I'm someone that, has been at those low points and kind of had those times where I haven't wanted to keep pushing, where I've let myself get complacent, let myself just, become the victim, let myself just continue to just keep doing what I'm doing, be destructive, all that type of stuff. When if I had someone or had, a podcast, something that I could listen to that gave me tools and gave me ways to get through these types of things and help show me people who also were kind of going through the type of things that I was going through and how they were able to push through it, I think I would have been able to, honestly get through my issues a lot easier because, again, I know how easy it is to just kind of avoid, whether it be distracting yourself with different things. My distraction has always been basketball. Whether, through good things, through high times, through low times, everything, I could always have basketball. Basketball is always my distraction. It's my getaway from life. I could go, shoot, play, and I just felt free. I was confident. I just always felt as my best self when I was playing basketball. But in college, a couple years ago, I had a rough year personally. That I was dealing with a lot of issues that I hadn't dealt with growing up and kind of let mount up over the time. And again, I was distracting myself, whether that be with people, relationships, but a lot of times with basketball, going out, having a good time, that type of stuff. But anything that I could do to just kind of distract myself from what was going on in my mind, I was trying to do. And for the first time, my main distraction, basketball, was also something that was, kind of bringing me inner turmoil, was something that wasn't bringing me joy anymore. I didn't enjoy going to practice, didn't enjoy, trying to get better, didn't enjoy that. I don't know, I'd kind of given up on myself, kind of thought maybe I wasn't as good as I thought I was. And, this was tough, and I can't lie, I kind of gave up there for a little bit. I let myself just kind of wallow away, let myself just kind of get all up in my head. It's and tough. You can't dwell on it, Obviously, there's a lot of regrets, a lot of things that I wish I could have fixed, but I'm also glad that I was strong enough at the time to realize what I was going through and at least have the strength to say something and realize that I wasn't fulfilling what I needed to fulfill to be the person that I wanted to be. And you can't change and you can't become or grow until you realize that you really have a problem. And for a while, I really tried to deny that I had a problem and that something was going on. And it got to a point where I couldn't do that anymore. And yes, that sucked. That was something that was really hard on me. It was something that was really hard on my family and people who cared about me. But I don't know if I'd be here today. I don't know if I could say that I am the person that I am today if it wasn't for that experience and wasn't for me finally realizing that I needed to do something about my growth, do something about my mental health, about, getting better. Yes, it's nice to have support. It's nice to have people around you, but nobody's going to do it for you. And that's something that I was finally realizing that, yes, I wanted to get better, but for a while there, I wasn't willing to put the work in to do that. And it wasn't until I got to that point where I just didn't know if I could go any lower to really push me to that point of knowing, hey, I need to push myself here and I need to try and push myself outside of my comfort zone. So with that, over these past couple of years, I've really tried to grow, work on myself, work on just a lot of different habits, There's a lot of things that I would say I let myself talk myself out of things a lot. I can easily convince myself to not do something. I can be very lazy and procrastinate on a lot of things, and this is something that I've really tried to focus on over these past couple of years and really try and, make it a point to be consistent with, when I want to be lazy, those times when I want to procrastinate or when I want to push something off, be like, well, I don't want to let myself down. I don't want to look back and be like, oh, what could have been, or, have any regrets because, then I have to cram later or I wasn't prepared for what the game or anything. I don't want to have those excuses anymore, and I want to take control of my life. And with that, I again realized that I don't have all the answers, and an easy way to get answers is to try and learn. I want to learn from people who are successful. I want to learn from people who have that kind of mindset, who have pushed through things, who have been through stuff and have pushed through to something greater than just themselves, who have not only amassed great success, but are also great people and, give back, do different things. I just want to really dig deep and find out how they became who they are, because, if I had somewhere when I was going through my rough patch, and still going through my rough patches, if I had something to kind of go to and, had someone who could give me hope in these times where, I felt like nothing could go right. I have examples of people who were able to push through these things and gone through different scenarios and different things that are very similar to your experiences. It can help give you hope. It can help push you through those tough times to get better. And that's my main goal when it comes to this channel. Now, if there's one thing that I want you to take away from this episode, that is to always remember to continue to learn. Now, this might seem simple, this might seem a little dumb to some, but I think that we forget a lot of times how important it is to learn. And this is in all aspects of life. I think we get very cocky as far as what our knowledge is on things, especially when it comes to things that we're really good at. Because obviously we have an ego, we put a time, we've put effort into this thing and into this skill, into this profession. And when someone tries to tell us that we're wrong or that we don't know everything, that can make us feel dumb, can make us feel a little angry, because why wouldn't we? We put all this time into it. So I can understand that kind of like that ego-ness that goes into it. But the most successful people realize that they don't know everything. Obviously, no one can know everything. And even if you are successful, it's because the hard work, the learning, all the things that you did to get to that point. But as many people know, as a lot of successful people have found out, as a lot of people who have been successful and now aren't know, if you don't, stay with the times, don't continue to try and grow and better yourself, a lot of times you're going to be left at the wayside. Yes, you might be up here, but if people keep working, keep growing, and you're just staying here, sometimes people are going to pass you by. It's just how it goes. So my thing is, doesn't matter what it is, whether this is school, learning a new activity, learning a new profession, instrument, whatever that is, most important thing is, do not get complacent. It's so easy to get complacent. It's so much easier said than done to just say, oh, don't be complacent. I understand. But the people who get complacent are the people who get left behind. And that's just the way of the world. For me, something that I'm really trying to focus on right now, there are a lot of areas. I mean, I'm getting to my last year of college, so I've got to start thinking real world, what do I want to do? As far as real world, what my goals are profession-wise, my goal is and has always been to be a professional basketball player. Whether that be obviously at the highest level, whether that be overseas, whatever it is, I've always wanted to continue my journey, whether with basketball. I've always wanted to continue my career. I've always thought that I've had the skill level and the talent to be a professional basketball player. And I have always had the love and passion for it. So this is just something that I've always wanted to do. So for that, I know that there's a lot of things that I need to work on. A lot of things, obviously. No one's a perfect player. So with that, I go into every off season, and after every game, you look back and you say, all right, yes, whether the game was good or bad, whether the workout was good or bad, what did you learn? How did I play? What went well? What didn't? If you just think that you're in control of everything and you can control every outcome, that's just not the case. All you can control is how you react to things and the kind of effort that you put towards things and the attitude that you put towards things. So if you're constantly always putting negative attitudes towards your actions, you're probably not going to get positive results out of it. So one thing I've always really been trying to focus on here, whether this is with basketball or whether it be the extra learning that I'm trying to do for just the additional skills that I need, I realize that in order for me to get where I need to be, I don't necessarily need to get better at the things that I'm good at, but I need to get a lot better at the things that I'm bad at. And in order to do that, I need to learn and I need to grow. And, you need to be honest and have those conversations with yourself that just to be like, hey, I'm not who I need to be. I'm not where I need to be. And how do I get to where I need to be? That's a very easy way to kind of get going in this, is ask yourself those 3 questions. Am I where I want to be? Am I where I need to be? And if I'm not, how do I get to where I want to be? Again, those seem like very easy questions, but if you really sit down, and for me, if it's, asking about professional basketball, am I where I want to be? Obviously, no, I'm still in college, so I'm not at the professional ranks. How do I get to where I want to be? Obviously, this is just going to be to play at a high level, get a good stats, good film, sign with an agency. Those are all things that can help me get to where I want to be. Market myself, again, just perform well. These are all things that I can do to help me get to where I want to be. So when it comes to this theme of continuing to learn, a quote comes to mind, a quote that I've always really liked, and that is, we cannot become what we want by remaining who we are. Now, this seems like a very simple quote, but to me, this really speaks volumes to really what it means to grow and to not be complacent. All this is saying is that if you want to become something great, if you want to become something bigger than yourself, you're not going to be doing it, and you're not going to get it by remaining with what you're doing. Because obviously what you're doing isn't great, isn't what you want to be, because you said that isn't what you want it to be. So if you continue to do what you're doing, how are you going to expect to grow, and how do you expect to get better? It's pretty self-explanatory. It's pretty simple, but it's something that a lot of people ignore. It's something that a lot of people don't really recognize when they're dealing with issues, dealing with problems, is that a lot of times it comes down to you. And a lot of people don't want to realize that. A lot of people don't want to deal with that a lot of times their issues, their problems are self-inflicted and are things that they're imposing on themselves, that just if they accepted and decided to then try and improve, they'd be at a lot better spot than what they're at. Now, before we wrap things up, I kind of want to just talk about the general structure of how we're doing things. These will be weekly posts when it comes to this channel. There will be a weekly interview usually. If not, then I'll obviously update you. But every week, I will be posting a podcast on Fridays. That'll be the day that I'll be posting. This week is a little bit different because I just wanted to get kind of a channel breakdown and introduction to the channel out there. So obviously this will be coming out on Tuesday, but the normal schedule will be to post the interviews on Friday. Interview with an athlete. A lot of these to begin with will be athletes, because as a college athlete, as someone who's grown up as an athlete, a lot of the people that I know are athletes. So these are the people that I can talk to. These are the people that I have relationships with. But as we grow on this journey, I hope to, broaden those horizons and talk to new people, talk to people in different fields, all of that, because again, you can't grow without learning. So I want to learn, and I want to get better, and I want to learn from all sorts of different type of people. But these first few guests are all going to be former or current basketball players. Our first guest, which will be next week, will be with my former teammate, former Division II legend at Sherman State, Broderick Thomas. He has been on a few different NBA teams so far in his young NBA career, on two-way contracts with Houston Rockets, Cleveland Cavaliers, Boston Celtics. Even was on the team during their playoff run last year. So very excited about that. So please tune in next week for that, and be looking out on the socials for updates on that. The week after that, we plan on having Kendall McCollum, another former Division II All-American legend in his own right. He is currently playing overseas in the top league in Germany, playing in the Euro Cup as well. So he's someone who's playing at a very high level, someone that I look up to, and someone who I admire as a player. So very looking forward to having for the lineup that we have so far in a few weeks. Tristan Spurlock. He is currently player development coach at the University of Iowa on the men's basketball team, but was a journeyman, had a very long overseas career playing all over the place, playing in some summer leagues and on some G League rosters as well in his early career. But someone who is a winner and someone who I genuinely admire their mindset, and just their confidence in the way that they play the game. He is someone that I've very much looked up to over these past couple of years in the short time that we've known each other, but he's left a lasting impact on me, and it's always been someone who's kind of been kind of a big brother, and always kind of been someone that I can go to for advice. So he was a person who I thought could be a good guest. So that's my lineup so far. Again, please comment, hit me up with anybody who you think would be good people to interview. I'm looking for all sorts of people. It don't have to just be athletes again. I'm very interested to talk to people. I want to learn, and please reach out with anybody you would like. As we wrap things up here, I just want to thank you guys again for coming along with me on this journey. It means a lot to me. This is something that I'm passionate about, something that I really want to put some time into, something that I want to learn and get better at, and I hope that shows with the effort and the quality of what I'm putting out. Please leave any feedback. Again, I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to grow at this. So please let me know different things you think I can improve on. All that sort of stuff would be greatly appreciated. Again, please everyone go check out the socials. They'll be at as well. So please check them out on there. I'll be posting clips and updates on when posts will be going out. So please check us out there. Lastly, I want to leave you guys with this. Always remember, never back down, never quit. It's always you versus you. Attack your fears and push past your limits. And always remember to never stop climbing. I'll see you guys next week. Thanks again.